Well, we've got some snowbanks now, boys. How fast you can go from not much snow to having some snow. Our road needs plowing, but I think I have a bad switch in my controller on my plow, so guess who doesn't have a plow with them today? But that's alright, we all have four-wheel drive, we can make it. See these sticks hanging off the front here? One stick hanging off the other? They've been hanging on there for a good 5 minutes. I thought they'd fall off right away, but they're just there to irritate me, I guess. Ooh, I've got a bad head cold today, so I hope I don't sound like too bad, but I'm just about done with this block. I better get going, get to the next one. Well, one of my Timco eyelashes is still surviving. Hey, can you tell which drags I've cut this morning and which drags I cut yesterday? Yeah, we had a nice wind through the night, so it blew a lot of snow off the trees. That is fantastic. I don't know, is that a politician storm that blew so hard? Never mind. So these guys piled up this tree length pile. That's what they did yesterday afternoon. That's what they've done this morning. But they piled it up on high ground here. And there's a few stumps out here I'm supposed to buzz before I move on to the next block. And Spiff is trying to get some of the debris off here so I can find them. Because right now I don't see any. But he said there's a couple in here I need to take care of. Well, this is highly unproductive wood for a hot saw. But it's also very unproductive. It'd be horrible for a dangle head. I mean, it's horrible for this, but it would be really bad. Just so many unmerchantable stems. And it's probably infected, I'm guessing. That's why we're... Well, no, most of the, you know, like back there, that's more merchantable. And there's this area back here that's not quite as good. But when you cut a swamp, you just cut the whole thing. The snow falls off the trees and lands on the machine, and then it sits there, and the warm hydraulics just sit there and drip, 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 drip. Water just running off them hoses. Well, that's what my nose is doing right now. I'm gonna run out of Kleenexes at this rate. This is a telltale sign of a mistletoe infection. Is you've got an area, see how thick the trees are all around, and then you have this wide open spot right here. That's because the mistletoe killed them. And you can see, I don't know if you can tell, there's infected trees. You can see a few up there. See those big witch's brooms? There's one that's just about dead. That thing right there, you know, it's infected badly. That one's infected pretty bad. So yeah, oh, there's another one that's pretty badly infected. That's why there's this opening in the middle of the swamp. The mistletoe really took hold right there and killed everything. Except for the tamarack. That tamarack looks good. Oh, must be good. A porcupine has been chewing on it right there. You ready for some whiteout conditions? Here we go. Oh, it helps if you got the tray. The snow coming off the trees really blinds you. You kind of got to pick your tree out ahead of time and aim for it. Then you can't see your drag. Well, I guess I kind of can. That's dead. Nope, it's still alive. You may ask yourself, how can this thing overheat on a day like today? Well, the radiator's right there. All that snow coming down goes in that radiator. And I have a reversing fan. And you hear the air compressor kicking in. It's going to turn the blades on the Clean Fix fan. And is it going to push it out? No. not blowing any snow out. Why not? Something's wrong. Oh, what a beautiful sunset this evening. And this is a perfect example of what I'm doing. I'm putting all them little trees across in front of me so I have something to drive on. And you could tell there is not much for merchantable wood in the heart of this. That's all I got on this end. Probably the biggest tree there might be 6 inches on the butt. Might be. And that, yeah. But anyway, look at that beautiful wall of wood. Sun shining on it. Nice and straight. I didn't have to make it that straight, but I did it anyway. Tomorrow's going to be a snow plowing day with the dozers. Jeff went over to the, I was going to say the name of the job, but anyway, he went over there and reopened that with the D4, and he's going to bring that over here maybe tomorrow and open this all back up. Dean is going to do a little dozer work too. I'm going to try to keep cutting swamp spruce and tamarack, I guess, try to get ahead of these guys. If I traffic that swamp, then it'll freeze down a little better. You know, pack that snow, take the insulation out of it. Boy, I wouldn't want to use that 2-story outhouse right now. Wow, it's cold out there. It's supposed to be 12 below tonight. That will be fantastic. We need stuff to freeze, but this big snow will insulate it. That's the bad part. Well, we had 18 glorious degrees below zero this morning, which is fantastic. This is a beautiful Saturday morning sunrise. So what I did here is I cut the edges of the swamp, so I cut all the way around it, and because it was sort of frozen, and I could do that much without doing any real damage, so that helps cool the swamp off. And I left it for what, a week, and now I'm back and I'm able to cut it, so that's good. I got a couple of strips left here to cut. This is what I was working on yesterday. Somebody must be using that deer stand this morning. The door is open. Wave at the deer hunter. No, there's no deer hunter. Might be easier to see now that I'm done cutting it. You can see the outside all around the green where the spruce is I just fell. So all this stuff, I fell the outside of the swamp because it was better ground. It was high ground. It goes to the deepest part of the swamp, and that takes the longest to cool off and freeze. So what I did was I cut the outside, and it helped cool off the swamp so the center would freeze, and then I was able to cut it. You know, I went down the road and cut an aspen block while I was waiting for the rest of this to freeze. Worked out well. Well, I'm over on the next swamp, a little closer to the bad spot, and the spruce is much better. By high? Yeah. I don't know. Sick. Well, let's try that reversing fan again. My hydraulic. There you go. There's a little air compressor in the cab here that pumps air out to the fan, and it switches the blades so they push instead of pull, and it blows it all out, and pretty soon you're going to hear, if you heard that air release, and then the fan goes back to suck. All the trees are going on the ground underneath me because they're too small. But you can see the last drag I made was there, and there's one over there, so I've gone 100 yards and made 2 drags, and small ones at that, because the trees are just too small here, but they're infected, so they gotta be cut, they gotta be killed, restart. But boy, this is an expensive little project here. I see a dozer. I see a dozer. Jeff finally made it down here to plow snow. I wanted to say how awesome the comments have been on my videos lately. Yeah, there's some pretty funny guys out there. Very funny. I appreciate that. Thanks for jumping in and making me chuckle once in a while. So Jeff bladed this all off. It's supposed to be 18 below the next couple nights, or a night or two, so that'll help freeze this road. And that's not the bad stretch. The bad stretch is behind me. There's some tree lengths piled up there. That's where they decked it up. I was working on this spruce swamp this afternoon, and I got a little bit left to go there, and just a gorgeous sunset here. What is it, 4:30? Wow, that's pretty. I'm making my way over to my pickup. I'm gonna make sure this is all greased up and cleaned up, all the snow and ice chiseled out of it. Look at that white pine out in the middle of the swamp. Not much of a tree, but kind of cool. Oh, there's that last pocket of spruce I gotta cut there. I was able to fall all this tamarack. It's still laying out there because they haven't been able to skid it. That's what I'm working on. You can see through it. I'm just about done. That's good, because I've had enough. My soft spot's right up there. So hot snow. Snow falls off the trees onto this warm cylinder, and then the ice melts. This is a big channel. You can see it up under there. And if you let this ice build up and build up and build up, when you extend it all the way forward, you will bend this cylinder. See all this ice? I got to chisel this all out of here before I leave, or it will ruin that cylinder. I got to clean out that, snow in behind those cylinders. If I do not, big problems. Can you tell? I got all that ice out of there. Got the ice out in there. Got the ice out down in there. Anyway, it's already after 5 and I'm still here and I haven't even greased yet. But anyway, I just wanted to say that the Timco has a nice hairdo. No, that's not what I wanted to say. I want to say Happy New Year. Hope everybody has a great time and is safe and responsible. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Good night, Timco. Thanks for being a good girl. Appreciate it. See, I told you it'd get plowed today. Looks good. Snowbanks. Haven't seen that in a while.